Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a psychologist. I believe that social sciences are one of the most important branches of science. But I do think that the way we present it to the world is kind of fractured, both to the public and to society. Why? Well, because the way we measure success, as you've already mentioned, is entirely bibliographic. H-indexes, citations, bibliometrics. And this has led to this wonderful white paper by Sage that says that the #1 issue in social science research is the lack of proof of social impact. And isn't that a bit ironic? The disciplines created to study and improve society have almost or very little proof of their impact. So is there a way that we can fix this system? Let's have a comparison over here with STEM. That is quite easy to measure. They have patents, they have products, and they are easily adopted by the media because they're pretty cool. So in our case, social sciences deal with people. They deal with changing people's attitudes or reducing inequalities or improving mental health. And these things are with slow outcomes. They're less visible and they're harder to measure. People are most likely to boast about a product or an innovation rather than explaining how they overcame something very private and difficult. So in this sense, our field remains kind of undervalued. And as they have said, as our colleagues Murrow Jacobs and Hellstorm have said, in the way that we write about our success, we use these ex-ante relevant claims. To provide an example, in my dissertation, which is on loneliness in decision-making, I had to write how it's going to be used. And so I said, well, you know, therapists can use it because they will know that more lonelier people make more dependent decisions in Bulgaria. And in England, they make more avoidant decisions, and that's going to be useful in therapy. Realistically, though, therapists have up to 8 people per day. And even though they attend trainings, they don't have the time to read our publications, who are usually behind a paywall. But this is a time where self-help books are a need. People are looking for them, right? And you can see that the way that we have presented social sciences have left this big gap that has led to a lot of misinformation. We have all probably seen or heard at least one TikTok that says, psychology says, and it has absolutely nothing that relates to science in any way. But there is the gap and people watch it, and it means that we are somewhere. Where is that? And why are we not online where people are looking for us? Why do we have to see these wonderful headings, which is after becoming obsessed with self-help, I had to heal from healing, or self-help is making you feel worse. In that sense, what do we do? What do we really do? Well, usually, a participant in a social study would contribute, and then 9 months later, or 12 months later, we're going to send them an email. It looks like this. And we'll say, well, thanks for participating. Here's a summary of what we did. Bye. Enjoy your life. But 9 months is a lifetime. You can have a child in the meantime, change your job, move to your country, lose a loved one. By the time you get these results, they're irrelevant. You don't care for them anymore. And this is what breaks the trust between people and the science for people. It's not that people don't care for science, it's that science doesn't care enough to give back when it matters. And our failure is not in producing knowledge, it's the way that we transmit it. So what's the alternative? We need to show and not tell. Unfortunately, I had a video here of our website where you could see that once a person completes a research paper, a research study, they receive their immediate results for free, right then and there. In this case, this is a study we did with a doctorate in Sofia University on burnout. So we told people what levels of burnout they have. And in this case, is it based on science? Absolutely. Is it personally for you? Yes, you just saw how science works. Is it for free? Absolutely, it's for free. You just participated in a study. And does it provide guidance? It does. You leave this study by knowing what you can do next for yourself. So this is how you create ambassadors for science, people who know and have felt and have experienced social sciences in the way that we are mentioning, but just not very effectively. The feedback that we usually get is that this was super accurate and very useful, and I know what to do now. So thanks. Now, the timing for this couldn't be more urgent because this is the most recent study in Eurobarometer. I think there it is. Okay. And in here we can see that 80% of people want access to their results. 80% is this missed opportunity. Dissemination overall is a missed opportunity because if we share results immediately, we can reach people even before publication and not after, like we have already mentioned in some of the presentations here. And while we do it, we don't do it effectively because it's in lectures, it's in conferences like this where we meet colleagues and not the regular people. And overall, we lose the opportunity to reach 80% of all participants, and that's millions of people. Not after publication, but right in between when you're doing it. So this made me wonder, could we use that intrinsic motivation of people seeing their results to get better and more engaged participants? And the answer to this question is absolutely. With large data sets and limited time, this is not always possible, and this is where external partners like SMEs would come in. Because our participants join not because they really care about your research or want to help you, they want to help themselves. They have the intrinsic need and curiosity to do it. We don't pay them to do it, they just click on the link and get their results. And so through participation, we educate them and we turn them into ambassadors of science. So as to not lose more time, this isn't a theory and it's already happening. These are our ongoing projects. We are working here in Bulgaria with the Bulgarian Breast Cancer Association, where we help them out by creating the psychometrics to measure the women who suffer from this disease and their levels of depression and anxiety. We also work with Momfident, who is a startup helping moms after giving birth and having postpartum depression. We're working with Desi on their app Caxi, where we provide information for all of the research that goes through our platform, and a few Euro projects that I'm not going to talk about, but we can talk about later. Last but not least, the best way to transmit knowledge is to wrap it up in the human being. And that is exactly what we're doing, because we collect samples, and these samples are representative of society. And if we do not provide value to that sample, it means we do not provide value for the society it represents. You can find our sources over here, and thank you so very much for this platform. I'm very glad to be here. You can find my LinkedIn there and our website on the other side of the QR code. Thank you again. Oh, yes, questions. Any questions? Yes.
Because you said that, do you find the link between, or can you comment that question? When we produce science, we have 9 months of delay at least.
Yes.
But when you produce news, we have the result immediately, but we don't trust in news. What is your explanation for that?
When we produce news, I'm not sure.
Okay, when we share news, at
All right.
the moment, one and the same moment, there is no trust also. So how we can cope with that?
How we can cope with the trust in news, but sorry, I just want to make sure that I understand. News that are related to research, or do you mean news overall? Do you want to ask me in Bulgarian as well? So I can understand.
My question is linked to that we insist that we need more trust.
Yes.
When we will gain it if we share at the moment.
Yes.
But when we use our experience in news sharing,
yes.
we don't have this trust. Do you think that we can use science to help news somehow to be more trusted,
Yes.
and
Vice versa. I think that the key word here is relatability. If people relate to any news article, they will believe it. If they see themselves in what they see, they will believe it. If they don't, and it's abstract and it's something that's people don't want to believe, they wouldn't. And this is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to relate this one specific person, just one, an individual, to what we are doing. So I do think that the way that we are sharing news online can benefit from learning how to personalize the way that they share news and not make it as huge and as targeted towards a big group as it is. Rather, just think of the person themselves and advocate for them. I don't know if I answered. But thank you as well.
I also have a question. So I have had in my life of being the impact lead in my department. Mm-hmm. So we have to basically identify where our research makes impact, and also to gather evidence and then to write impact stories. And I agree with your statements that the social sciences have a difficulty to demonstrate impact, but isn't this because of the nature of the sciences? Because when we look at impact, this is like the difference your research makes. If I can describe this cup as it is now, and then suddenly I find a way to transform it into a golden cup, and I know what I did for this change to happen, this is the impact. Yes. So with the cup, it's clear, and with lots of the STEM disciplines, it's also more clear what's changing. So with the social sciences, which study the society, yep. This is such a huge subject. Yeah. So where is the problem? Is the problem in the nature of the science, or is the problem in how we are trying to explain impact?
I would say both. So on the one hand, like I also compared them, it takes some time for new findings to settle in society and to change perspectives, similarly to what we've discussed about open science. So we kind of have to be patient on the one hand for the big change. But when it comes to just a person, I think we have failed to represent the individual that participates in research and the individual that can benefit from it. So I think that the best way is to use dissemination as the way to reach one person, and then another person, and then another person. And if we're doing this during the process and not after, if we move dissemination at the beginning, like we're doing with citizen science, where we first speak with people and then we use them to work through in the sense that we would be beneficial for them, and we're sure that we're going to be beneficial for them. We're trying to do the same thing and to help measuring impact in the sense that once you've seen your results, you can get an intervention right after. And not 9 months later. And we tend to make that happen. We work with psychologists or somebody else who can take this person and take care of them. And in the end, while you're doing whatever you're doing for 9 months, you're doing your job, you need to pay attention to your research, right? In the meantime, we collect that data, and we can tell you 80% of the people that we researched clicked on this link and they went and visited the psychotherapist. And 30% of them clicked on another link and they read 2 more articles about it and they learned more. And now, when you're publishing, you can say, oh, by the way, here's what people actually did, not somebody who I think would do something. It's, here it is, let's work with that and see how we can apply it to a broader community. Okay. Sorry, this was a long answer.